Hey everyone, it's Mel. Tonight for dinner, we're going to make a delicious creamy vegetable soup actually. So let's see what we need to make this vegetable soup. A lot of these ingredients we can grow from our own garden, which are carrots, onion, yellow onion, broccoli. Look how pretty this is. This is not from my garden yet. My broccoli is not ready. It's still in seed form. But when it is ready, she's gonna look pretty just like that. Potatoes, also you can grow in your garden. Garlic, you wanna plant garlic the previous season, so fall, early winter, late fall, early winter in your zone, and then you harvest in the following summer of the next year. And to get the creamy portion that we need, we're gonna use cheese. Now, I'm not gonna use real cheese. I have to use vegan cheese because I cannot eat real cheese or dairy of any kind. Milk, cream, can't do it. And we're going to blend flour and milk together to get the creamy that we need to make this the creamy vegetable soup. Okay, so first we wanna get going with chopping our onion. Get this out the way. I have my recipe here so we don't forget anything. Okay, let's get chopping on our onion. Let's get going with that. I'm gonna put my Dutch oven on low heat while we're chopping our onion. And in the Dutch oven, we're going to coat it with 2 tablespoons of butter. So let's see, let's get that in here. That's 1 tablespoon roughly. Let's see. That's 2. Okay, so we're gonna put our Dutch oven on a low to medium heat while we're chopping the onion, and then we'll get the onion inside. Okay, we have our butter in the Dutch oven. So now we can get going slicing our onion. And then the recipe calls for diced onion. Does it have a specific amount? Nope, just says 1 whole onion dice. So let's get that going. And what you want to do is, because we have to dice the onion and the garlic, first you want to get the onion going because the onion takes just a wee bit longer to cook down than the garlic. So I like to do it while my onion is cooking down. Then I start chopping up my garlic. Because if you put the onion and the garlic in too soon, whew, that is strong onion. You can burn your garlic. Okay, so that's half an onion. Knife isn't as sharp as I thought it was. Okay. Okay, so our butter is nicely melted down. So let's put this on simmer. We'll just simmer it. Okay. And get that in there relatively quickly because we don't want to burn the oven up. We don't want to burn the onions. Now, I've made vegetable soup before, plenty of times, but I haven't made a creamy vegetable soup because any recipe that calls for creamy, I tend to stay away from because I can't do creamy things. So I thought, well, just substitute it, right? There's so many more sort of really good vegan options out there. Not that I'm vegan, I'm not vegan. I still eat seafood, so I'm not vegan, but I just can't do dairy. So I'm gonna try this. This is my first time. I'm just gonna see like how it tastes. And hey, if this works, if this tastes great, this might go into my dinner rotation for the family. I'm gonna do this really quickly because our butter is going. I thought I had the flames low enough, but I don't think I did. I'm gonna get these diced as best as possible. It's gonna be a rough chop. Not so much a dice. Okay, there we got it. Oopsie. Okay, that's good. Okay, and while our onion is going, let's get our garlic going. Okay, the recipe calls for 10 garlic cloves. Let's get that out. I'm trying to rush, and whenever I rush and not take my time, things just start to happen. Okay. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. Okay, there's our 10 cloves of garlic. Get that out the way. Okay, so I temporarily just turned off the heat because it is cooking a lot faster than I am moving, but that's okay. We'll turn off the heat. Everything will be fine. So now we have to chop or mince 10 cloves of garlic. I like to squish my garlic first, then cut it, because that sort of releases more of the garlic flavor. So I do that first, and then I chop it up. Also helps to get the skin off the garlic quite nicely. Just cut off the end bits that we don't want, and then we'll just do a rough chop. Also, what we could do is we can just pre-chop all of our veggies before we get the heat going, and that way everything is ready as we need it to be, which the recipe did say. But I always cook my food this way. I have one thing going while I'm doing something else, so I partially have to stick to just what I do. But I want to be also helpful and say, if it's easier, just get all of your veggies chopped. So like chop up your broccoli, cube up your russet potatoes, your carrots. You can have everything pre-ready to go. I just like to do two things at one time, which sometimes works out nicely and sometimes not so much. That's okay. I actually have some laundry going behind you there in the laundry room. So you hear a buzz go off. That's my dryer telling me that my clothes are done and ready. Okay, we have our 10 cloves diced, smashed and diced actually. So now let's put this in with our onions, and then we can turn the heat back on to low. Already the smell of the onion and the garlic mixing together, just, you can already just eat this by itself. It smells so good. Okay, let's get the next thing going. Okay, so we melted the butter. We diced up our onion and garlic. It says cook for 7 to 10 minutes or until the onions become translucent. That's when you know the onions are done and ready, when they become a bit more clear and see-through. Next, add carrots. Okay, so let's get our carrots chopped and ready to go. First, we want to peel our carrots, and it calls for 2 pounds of carrots. I don't know what 2 pounds of carrots look like. So I brought out my my scale here, and let's see. Yeah, add the carrots on medium heat. Carrots peeled and diced. Oh, 1 pound. Sorry, 1 pound. 1 pound of carrots. Let the scale even out. Oh, accidentally turned it off. Jiminy crickets. Okay. Okay, so we'll get these peeled and then chopped, and then we'll add them into our Dutch oven. If you guys saw my last two videos, you saw that I couldn't find my veggie peeler because someone who shall remain nameless put them in the wrong drawer. Someone in my house. I won't say any names, but it starts with a B. She knows who she is. That's my baby, my daughter. Okay. One more to go. But I purchased a new one before I found the my old one, which is fine. Okay, so we got those peeled. Put these in our bowl. And now it just says to dice. I'm gonna slice. I'm not gonna dice. That's how I like my carrots. I like to eat my carrots. I'm gonna move a little more quickly here so I can get to the onions and garlic that's cooking on the stove. I'm gonna slow down that cooking though a little bit by adding, well, maybe I should dice it, because what if it doesn't cook evenly, right? Boy. I'll dice a little bit. I'll dice the bigger ones. Okay, and so this will slow down that onion and garlic a bit. There, we got it. Because it's cold and the other ingredients inside is hot. I'm excited about this recipe. I don't typically make, well, I've never made vegetable soup in creamy form, so I'm excited to see how this is going to taste, and if this is gonna be a winner chicken dinner for the fam. See what they say. All right, let's get this one in. Okay, last one. That'd be nice. Yeah, I probably could have doubled the recipe, but let's see. Okay, so we've added our, ooh, look at that nice, that's gonna be a nice flavor there. We added our carrots, and the recipe calls for this to cook for 5 minutes over medium heat. So let's do that. It doesn't say to cover it, but I'm gonna cover it. Okay, so next up are our potatoes. It calls for 2 large russet potatoes. So let's get these peeled and diced, and then we'll add them to the Dutch oven after they cook down for 5 minutes, the carrots. And then we're gonna pour our broth, our veggie broth, over that and let that simmer. If you find any bruises on your potatoes, you can just cut it out. It's still fine. If that bothers you, it doesn't really bother me too much. Still a good potato. It's just unsightly, a little bit of a blemish. Okay. There, we got it. Okay, that's one. Do we get everything? We got everything. Okay, here's the second one. All right, so it's been about a minute or two. So that'll give us enough time to get our potatoes diced. More than enough time, actually. Okay, how pretty. That's a pretty potato. All right, we're gonna get our scraps out the way. And I save all of my vegetable scraps because I have a composter. I just throw everything in the composter. I don't typically throw in onions in the composter, but everything else goes into the composter. And you can cut these as big or small as you want, but the smaller you cut them, the more surface area you will expose, which is good because then it won't take that long for your potatoes to cook. Okay, we have our 2 potatoes peeled, diced, and now we're going to add them to our Dutch oven with the onions, garlic, and the carrots. Add the potatoes and veggie broth, bring to a boil. Boil until the potatoes are tender and easily pierced with a fork. Oh, laundry's done. We'll get to that in a second. Now we are adding our veggie broth. Guys, this smells so good already. It says 32 ounces of veggie broth, so I'm gonna add the entire container because this is a 32 ounce container. There, we got it. I'm probably gonna want a bit more flavor with the potatoes. So I'm gonna add a bit of salt and pepper. You know what? I'm also going to add a bit of garlic powder. Okay, we're going to let this sit until we bring it to a boil. There, we got it. Okay, I'm going to clean up for just a bit. And then we'll get going to our other portion of this easy veggie soup dinner. Okay, so next the recipe calls for cut broccoli florets. The florets are just the top pretty part of the broccoli, and we could just really cut it just right in half. Make sure, does it have an amount of florets? Finely chopped, 2 cups. Okay, 2 cups. So we just want to cut the broccoli off the stem. Put this in my scrap bowl. And just have 2 cups of finely chopped. So that means we want to cut even the 1 floret in half and maybe even fourths. It says finely chopped. I don't know, that means finely chopped to me. Cut more of that stem off. All right, that's about 1 cup. I'm gonna leave just a tiny part of the stem on because I like a little crunch, a little texture with my soup. I got a loaf of garlic bread that was already done. The store makes it for you. And so all you have to do really is just put it in your oven. So I'm gonna get my oven going so that can start warming up, and then we can start preparing our garlic bread to go with our soup. Okay, I think we're at a good healthy 2 cups now. Here, we got it. So I'm gonna put that to the side, get this cleaned up. And so the next step will be to mix our milk and flour into a bowl and then add it to the veggie soup. Then add the finely diced broccoli and let that simmer for 15 minutes. Okay, so we don't need the broccoli yet, but what we want to do is mix our milk and our flour, and that's going to again help with the creamy consistency in addition to your cheese. I'm going to use almond milk. The recipe calls for 2 cups of milk. You can use whatever milk you like, whatever is kind to your body. Regular milk is not kind to my body, so I have to use a milk alternative. So 2 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons, oh, here's why I have this out. 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna use this flour, it's all the same. I mean, it's not all the same, but this is almond flour. I'm gonna try that. Okay, so I just turned on the oven for the garlic bread. We just checked the pot, not yet to a boil, so we have time. Two cups. And 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of flour. Whenever I'm doing a new recipe, I like quadruple check what I'm doing. until I become comfortable with it. Because if I'm going to try something for the first time, I want to make sure that I give it a fair and honest assessment. And if I like screw up somewhere along the line of while I'm doing the recipe, then it's not really fair. So let's see. We're going to do this properly. That's 1. That's 2. Now, almond milk is not nearly as thick, creamy, rich as regular milk, because regular milk has fat in it, or is fat. So this doesn't look so thick to me. I'm going to use just another tablespoon of flour to sort of try to balance the lack of thickness that isn't in the almond milk, actually. So that's really the only thing I'm going to deviate with here. It's just adding another tablespoon of flour. Oh, let's take that out. To try to compensate for the lack of thickness in the almond milk. Okay, that actually looks a little better. Okay, so at this point, the only thing left to do is wait for our potatoes to boil and get soft. Add in our milk and flour mix, our broccoli florets, and our cheese. And I'm hoping that, you know, vegan cheese is not like regular cheese. Obviously, some vegan cheeses don't melt down nicely, but this brand is just the way to go if you need that option. So I think this is going to also help with giving the soup that creamy texture that we're looking for. So I'm excited. Okay, let's give it the fork test. Ooh, they're boiling, looking good. Let's see, but is it ready? No, they need, oh, yeah, I'd say another 5 to 10 minutes. Oh, that smells delish. Now, if I were making a regular vegetable soup, I would add also celery to this. That would be divine. But I'm following the recipe and I'm just adding those few veggies that it called for. So let's cover this back up. Let that continue. And let's get started on our bread. So at the market, they sell pre-made garlic bread, which you can make your own garlic bread at home, of course. But I like that this just saves an extra step, right? I mean, it's Sunday night. I'm getting ready for the week. We have loads of other things that we have to do. And if we can save 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that can be used for other things, why not, yeah? And I debated. I was like, oh, should I just like make it myself? No, just get it already made. If you can find it already made, get it already made. And just put it in the oven. I like to have it a little bit crisp. So I'm gonna open it up. Oh, this smells good. I want to eat it just like this. Of course, I didn't leave enough space, but I think this is more than enough bread. So we can save this. We can wrap this, put it in the freezer, save it for another day, for another recipe. Let's put that to the side. And let's get our garlic bread in the oven. I'm getting excited now. Okay, so we preheated our oven to 375. Actually, I think let's do I don't know, I think let's do air fry, start, because I really want the bread to have like a nice, not char, but like a toast on it. So I think the air fry will make that happen. Okay, and for our garlic bread, we'll just need to leave it in the oven no longer than 10 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, but we'll check it. We'll open the door and check it and make sure that it's good to go. The potatoes are boiling. I like to leave my potatoes on for a bit. I don't like crunchy potatoes, although I do like a crunch in the soup. I don't like crunchy potatoes. So we're gonna let that sit for just another 5 minutes, and then we can add in our broccoli, our milk and flour mix, and our cheese. Okay, so we're ready to add the milk and flour mix. Ooh, that is hot. So we add this in first. There we go. And then all those bits help to thicken up the soup a bit. So we're going to stir until this is nicely mixed in. Okay, that looks really good. And now we want to add the broccoli florets that we chopped up nicely. Okay, so we're gonna let the broccoli cook for 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and check on it. I'm gonna add just a sprinkle more salt. Layer your seasons as you go. Okay, so we have our broccoli in here. We're gonna let this sit for 10-15 minutes. Now let's check on our bread just to see how it's going. 1 minute you put the bread in and it's not done, and the next minute it's overly done. So I like to check periodically to make sure I don't get to the overly done part, yeah? Okay, let's see how our bread is doing. Ooh, that looks yumma. So let's turn this off and let this finish sitting in there just so we can keep the heat going. I hope you guys try this recipe. If you can smell what's going on in here right now. I wasn't hungry before. I am now. All right, so we're almost done. We have maybe about 10 more minutes left for the soup. And the last thing to add is our cheese. So we'll save this for the very last. Our bread is ready to go. Let's get this washed up. I'll mop the floor when we're done. Okay, we are gonna get ready to plate our dinner. Again, creamy vegetable soup with the side of already made garlic bread from the market. Easy. That looks so yum. Smells delicious. Look at that perfectly toasted garlic bread. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's check on our soup. Oh yeah, it's looking good. Another 2 minutes on the broccoli and that's ready. In the meantime, we can get our toast ready to go. It looks so hearty and yummy and healthy. Oh, I can't wait to have that. don't actually need a lot of toast, so I'll just take a couple of pieces here. Kind of like the bigger pieces. We can sample, we'll just sample one. See how it's, oh my God. So simple, right? Garlic, butter, and bread. So yummy though. That's perfect. Actually, I like this little piece too. I'm gonna take another little piece. I like the little pieces too. I like it all. Okay. So now this we can put on our stove. We'll save some toast for everyone else when they get home. Oh, that looks so yummy. Okay. Now it's time to add our cheese. I'm too excited. Oh, let's see if it calls for a particular amount of cheese. It calls for 8 ounces of cheese. It's 8 ounces. Oh, and by the way, I made a boo-boo. I didn't put in a pound of carrots like it calls for. It's a little less than a pound of carrots. So add more carrots to your soup. Okay, so it called for 8 ounces of cheese in the recipe. But if you want it super cheesy, or if you didn't use regular milk and you need it to be a bit more creamy, I say go ahead and add a bit more cheese. Maybe double it, 16 ounces, right? So my soup probably will not, let's get a closer look. My soup probably will not look as creamy as your soup at home if you're using regular milk. That's okay, because it's going to taste delicious. Don't forget to add more carrots to your recipe. All right, so we'll let that sit for 5. And I think we're ready to go. Okay, I'm excited and nervous. I hope this tastes delicious. It smells delicious. It looks yummy. Moment of truth. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Winner. Winner, winner. Chicken dinner, guys and gals. Oh my goodness. Wait, let's put our bread in there. Hold on. Let's get a, ooh, this is really crunchy, flaky. Let's get a nice fleshy piece of the garlic bread here. Let's do a little dip test. It's a hot dip. Okay. We did something. We did something. This recipe is perfection. If you need more salt or more pepper or whatever to taste, salt it to taste, this is actually perfect. You know, when it's so dang cold outside, if you're living in Northeast, you know what I'm talking about. It's been so cold lately. I woke up, I took a screenshot of this, maybe I'll put it online or post it in the video. I woke up one morning and it was like, oh, the temperature is 17, but it feels like 1. And then later on in the day, the temperature went up and it says, well, now it feels like 4 degrees. when you cook homemade, fresh vegetable soup, it just really warms your soul. It just warms your soul because you're so cold, but you can't let the cold stop you. You have to get out and do what you need to do. And this just makes it all better. I'm glad I tried this recipe. Now again, I had to use substitutes. If you don't have to, no worries. Use regular milk, use regular cheese. I cannot. But this is a winner. If you're going to try this, or if you do try it, let me know what you think. Hold on. Gotta get the carrot in there. Wait, hold on. We didn't try. Let's try the broccoli. Broccoli's perfect. You have the onions in there, you have the potatoes in there, and it's a bit creamy. It's not my usual vegetable soup that I typically make. It's a bit more creamy. You can add more cheese if you like. But this is a delicious hearty soup. That is a delicious Sunday dinner meal with your family, or any day. And if you have some left over like we do in our pot, you could pack some to bring it to work with you, like I'm going to do tomorrow. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Try this recipe. Let me know what you think. If you have already, right? This is not like it's brand new. So if you have already, let me know. And if you try something different, if you have different measurements or different ingredients, let me know, because we still have a bit more winter to get through. And I can try, you know, something different. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I will see you on the flippity flip. Hold on. Everyone stay warm. And yeah, take care.